gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, Montreal. Our top story today is the new road signs honoring a local girl whose tragic death in upstate New York has touched our community. Traffic remains tight in the Louis-Hippolyte LaFontaine Tunnel, and tonight's Ariana Grande concert promises a lively downtown vibe. Over to you, Ryan.
Forge secured a 3-1 win over Inter Toronto in CPL action, with Nana Ampama netting 2 goals, including the winner.
The match concluded with Forge scoring 3 goals, while Inter Toronto managed a single goal. Final score 3-1.
The victory keeps Forge unbeaten in their last 3 CPL matches, extending their winning streak to 2 consecutive games.
All right, let's get into it. Today's headlines include the new road signs honoring the Montreal girl and the upcoming Pride security plans. Good morning, Montreal. Road signs honoring a 9-year-old Montreal girl were erected Monday in a small upstate New York town near the swamp where her body was discovered a year ago. Authorities say the child, identified only as Bridget Cruz, was found dead in July 2025, and police have charged her father with her murder. The town council approved the plaques after weeks of public input, and each sign reads, "In memory of Bridget Cruz, age 9. The new markers, placed at the road leading to the wetland, bear her name and a brief message of remembrance. Local officials said the tribute aims to acknowledge the tragedy and provide a place for families to reflect. The installation took place at 5:16 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, following a community meeting last month. Police continue to investigate the case, and the father remains in custody awaiting trial.
Organizers of the city's Pride Festival have announced a major security overhaul ahead of this summer's events, dedicating roughly 10% of the overall budget to heightened protection, police presence, and well-being services. The decision follows the fatal attack on a Pride parade in Berlin last month, which prompted officials worldwide to reassess safety protocols. In Montreal, the plan includes additional surveillance, on-site medical teams and coordinated response units along the parade route, as well as mental health resources for participants. The security blueprint developed jointly with the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal and local LGBTQ+ groups extends to transit stations, nearby venues, and crowd control points, covering a schedule that runs from early August through early September. City police will work closely with event staff to monitor crowds and respond swiftly to any threats. Authorities stress that the presence aims to deter incidents while preserving the festival's spirit.
An Olympic wrestling champion is set to step back onto the mat at Centre Pierre Charbonneau today, marking a half-century since his gold medal triumph in the 1976 Games. Anatoly Bykov, the Soviet wrestler who captured gold on home soil, will revisit the arena that hosted his historic bout, a rare appearance for the athlete who now lives quietly in the city. Organizers say the event will feature a brief exhibition match followed by a meet and greet, giving fans a chance to hear stories from the champion's storied career. Bykov's return underscores the lasting legacy of the 1976 Olympics, a milestone still celebrated by Montrealers. Tickets were limited and sold out quickly, reflecting the community's enthusiasm for the celebrated guest. The Centre Pierre Charbonneau, a venue known for hosting events and tournaments, will open its doors at noon for ceremony. Local officials will join Bykov to acknowledge his contribution to the city's Olympic heritage.
Yesterday, Scouts Urbans opened a day camp that guides children 9 to 14 away from smartphones and onto paper maps across the island. Participants learn to read street grids, spot landmarks and plot routes using traditional cartography. Organizers say the aim is to effectively boost confidence in navigating the city without digital aids. The program runs for a full day, featuring hands-on challenges that take kids to cafes, metro stations, and museums. Scouts Urbans operates independently of Scouts Canada, echoing a similar initiative that has been active in Toronto for 10 years. By focusing on paper charts, the camp seeks to sharpen spatial reasoning and give youth the tools to move around on their own. Parents noted that kids returned home able to give directions and plan outings without a phone.
Indefinite funding suspension, announced today by the Caisse de dépôt et placement du Québec, has thrown a major residential tower project, near the Panama REM station, into uncertainty. The development, slated for high-rise apartments adjacent to the transit hub, was expected to break ground in the fall of 2026. Case officials said the financial participation is being halted pending a review of project viability and market conditions. The pause leaves the consortium without its primary institutional backer, raising questions about the timeline for construction and the availability of housing units that were to serve commuters on the Raso Express Metropolitane. City officials in Brossard have been briefed, and the situation remains under close monitoring as stakeholders assess next steps. The suspension is indefinite, with no new date set for resumption, and residents have voiced concern that the delay could push back promised amenities such as ground-level retail and community space. Up next, we honor Gloria Bailey's, posthumously named CBC Quebec Black Changemaker, and recap today's headlines. Stay with us, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the break. Up next, Ryan Mercer brings the latest local stories you need to start your day.
CBC Quebec is set to honor the late civil rights advocate and nurse Gloria Bailey's with its posthumous Black Changemaker Award today. The announcement, confirmed by CBC spokesperson Dion Codrington, cites Bailey's lifelong work championing equality and fighting discrimination across the country. Bailey's, who built a career as a registered nurse and entrepreneur before becoming a national figure in human rights advocacy, helped shape anti-racism policy and support services for marginalized groups. Her legacy includes founding one of Canada's first Black-owned health clinics and leading campaigns that influenced federal legislation. She also advised the Provincial Human Rights Commission during the 1980s and mentored dozens of young leaders who continue her work today. CBC Quebec says the recognition underscores the lasting impact of her activism on Canadian society. The ceremony will be streamed online, allowing viewers to learn more about her contributions and the ongoing fight for social justice.
Mayor of Laval urged provincial officials today to approve a rapid extension of the Orange Metro line that currently ends within the city. The mayor highlighted that the proposed stretch would deliver service efficiency 10 times greater than a recent comparable project elsewhere in Quebec. Extending the line would bring direct rapid transit access to neighborhoods on Laval's southern edge, cutting commute times for thousands of workers who travel to the downtown core each day. The proposal, already part of the city's long-range transportation plan, could relieve congestion on the main highway corridor and support new residential developments slated for the next few years. City planners say the extension would integrate with existing stations without major disruption, and the mayor stressed the urgency of securing funding before the next budget cycle.
The province has confirmed that the long-awaited rebuild of the St. Pierre Highway interchange is moving out of the study phase and into full planning. After 12 years of reviews and consultations, officials say the next steps will focus on detailed designs, environmental assessments, and securing the contracts needed to start construction. The interchange, a key bottleneck for commuters heading downtown and toward the East End, has been a daily source of traffic delays for many families. With planning now underway, drivers can expect clearer timelines for when lane closures and detours might begin, though no start date for actual work has been set yet. The government says the project aims to improve flow and safety, which could shorten rush hour trips once the upgrades are completed. Neighborhood shops near the interchange may see temporary changes in traffic patterns, and residents are encouraged to stay informed through local updates.
Yesterday, Radio-Canada Grand Montreal unveiled an interactive online map that pairs each Quebec region with a distinct musical piece. The tool lets users click on any area of the province and hear a melody that reflects that region's cultural heritage. From the rhythmic folk tunes of the Gaspé Peninsula to the vibrant pop beats of the Outaouais, the map creates a soundscape that tells the story of Quebec's diverse territories. Residents can explore the map on their phones or computers, turning a simple geography lesson into a personal soundtrack. The project aims to celebrate local identities through music, offering a fresh way to connect with the province's history while planning a weekend outing or simply winding down after work. The launch marks another step in using digital media to share Quebec's rich cultural fabric.
Sean Farrell left the roster yesterday, signing with the Anaheim franchise for the upcoming season, while Sasha Pastujov announced his arrival in the city, joining the local club. Both athletes spent last year competing in the American League, and their moves mark a shift for fans. Farrell's transition to the West Coast means Montreal supporters will no longer see him on home turf, but his presence in Anaheim could draw attention from the city's baseball enthusiasts during spring training. Pastujov's relocation brings a fresh talent to the local lineup, offering families a new player to follow at the park and adding depth to the team's bench. The changes were confirmed during a press briefing on Monday evening, and tickets for the opening games featuring Pastujov are already selling briskly. Local vendors anticipate a boost in sales as crowds gather for the first home appearances.
Let's get a look at your morning forecast with our weather team.
A deepening low and a westerly jet set the stage for a humid, late-day drizzle. On this date, Montreal once baked to 31.4 degrees Celsius in 2025, a record set during a lingering heat wave that pushed daily highs into the mid-30s. Conversely, the coldest reading fell to 13.9 degrees Celsius in 2017, when an Arctic blast drove temperatures below normal for a brief spell. Today's climatological normals hover around 23 degrees high and 18 degrees low, underscoring how today's high of 30 degrees sits just below the all-time peak, while the low remains well above the historic minimum. The live radar shows a band of moderate rain marching eastward across the St. Lawrence Valley, anchored by a core of heavier echoes moving from the west toward the city. At 7 am, the leading edge sits near Drummondville, advancing at roughly 15 kilometers per hour under the steering influence of the westerly jet. Expect the first drops to reach the island by about 4 p.m., with the most intense cells arriving near 10 p.m. before the system exits to the east. The map clears shortly after midnight, leaving a quiet night. Morning conditions are mainly clear with a low-pressure center drifting lower, keeping the atmosphere unsettled and the air feeling muggy as humidity sits at 98% and the dew point matches the temperature. A gentle easterly breeze at 3 kilometers per hour offers little relief, but the westerly jet at 42 kilometers per hour aloft injects modest lift, setting up a slow rise in clouds through the day. Temperatures climb from 22 degrees at 9 am to a peak of 30 degrees by mid-afternoon, then ease to 21 degrees as drizzle develops after 7 p.m. The wind will gust up to 23 kilometers per hour from the south in the evening, and the UV index reads 6. No weather alerts are active. Tuesday brings a high of 27 and a low of 19, with overcast skies and a 65% chance of rain as a trailing frontal wave nudges the low pressure further east. Wednesday remains similar, high 23, low 19, overcast and another 65% rain threat as the system stalls. Thursday shifts to a milder pattern, high 26, low 19, overcast, but dry as high pressure builds aloft. Friday clears with a high of 27 and low 19, mainly clear skies as the ridge strengthens. Saturday rounds out the week with a high of 28, low 21, and lingering overcast layers, keeping the humidity elevated. The pattern reflects a gradual transition from unsettled early week toward more stable conditions by the weekend. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll break down traffic in the Louis-Hippolyte La Fontaine Tunnel, preview Ariana Grande's concert, and catch Akim Aliou's diversity mission. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
The biggest holdup this morning is the Louis-Hippolyte La Fontaine Tunnel. Work crews are still in the tunnel between Longueuil and Montreal, keeping traffic to a crawl. Expect queues of at least 15 minutes at the tunnel entrances and a steady stream of brake lights as drivers merge onto the southbound lanes. If you can, consider using the Champlain Bridge or the Victoria Bridge to bypass the tunnel altogether. On the east side, a minor slowdown is reported on the service road that runs between Rue Tellier and Rue Notre Dame. The obstruction is limited to a short stretch, so the delay is only a few minutes, but drivers should stay alert for stopped vehicles. Transit is running on schedule, with no reported disruptions. Looking ahead, the tunnel work will continue through the afternoon, so plan for longer travel times if you're heading downtown later today.
Ariana Grande lights up the Bell Center tonight, the pop powerhouse delivering a high-energy show that's the talk of the city. If you want chart-topping hits and spectacular production, this is the place to be. Classical fans can drift into the amphitheater Fern and Lindsay for a program that weaves Brahms, Mendelssohn, and fresh new works, a perfect mid-week cultural lift. It's a perfect pause for anyone craving timeless masters and fresh voices. Looking ahead, the Ashiga Music Festival kicks off this weekend on Park Jean-Drapeau, promising 3 days of indie and mainstream headliners that will shape the summer soundtrack. The lineup spans indie acts to global headliners, promising something for every fan. And for families strolling through downtown, Dinos Alive at Place Bonaventure offers an immersive, life-size dinosaur experience that reacts to every step, great for curious kids and the young at heart. It's free to wander, and the moving models spark perfect photos. And now here's Tyler with sports.
Canadian soccer making noise and hockey's grassroots growing strong. Kim Aliu is redefining what winning looks like off the ice. The Hockey Diversity Alliance's measure of success isn't how many kids reach elite hockey, it's how many keep coming back year after year. That long game thinking is exactly how you build a sport that reflects the country playing it. Nana Ampama put Forge FC on his back Sunday. He opened the scoring, then delivered the decisive goal as Forge handled Inter Toronto 3-1 in CPL action. A 2-goal performance from your forward in a convincing road win, that is the kind of output that drives a club's push through the summer stretch. Debut goals don't get more dramatic than this. Nicolas Fleuriot-Chateau, an Ottawa native, stepped onto the pitch for Atletico Ottawa for the first time Sunday and buried a 96th-minute winner to edge Pacific FC 3-2 on home soil. Storybook start, now the question is whether he can make it a chapter, not just a moment.
Steve's Music Store on St. Catherine Street in downtown Montreal has closed its doors after 61 years of serving the city's musicians. For generations, the shop offered everything from vintage guitars to drum kits, and its walls echoed with the chatter of budding artists and seasoned performers alike. The closure reflects the mounting financial pressures on independent retailers and the pull of online shopping. Neighbors mourn the loss of a place where a teenager could try a saxophone for the first time and a seasoned jazz trio could find rare sheet music. Steve's was more than a store. It was a gathering spot that helped shape Montreal's vibrant music scene, and its absence will be felt in every rehearsal room across the borough. Stay tuned for a look at Urban Scouts Day Camp, where kids learn to navigate our city streets with confidence and fun.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From city hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMNA for the local Sunset Montreal's evening newscast.
On the lively corner of St. Laurent and St. Denis, the doors of Le Petit Haublon swung open as the morning sun caught the copper-toned taps. Owner Marie-Claude Tremblay greeted regulars with a grin, her hands still dusted with hop residue from the day's first brew. Neighbors gathered around the small wooden tables, the scent of fresh malt mingling with the aroma of croissants from the bakery next door. A local artist was finishing a mural of a maple leaf, spiraling into a glass of amber, each brushstroke echoing the city's love for craft and community. Even as the province's microbrewery count has slipped for the first time in 15 years, moments like this prove the spirit remains unshaken. Residents shared stories of first-time tastings, children clapped as a street musician played a gentle accordion, and a portion of the day's sales was pledged to a neighborhood garden project. The simple act of raising a glass together turned a market dip into a celebration of belonging. It's moments like these that remind us why Montreal's heart beats together.
On a crisp Saturday morning in the heart of the plateau, the buzz of cyclists and the clink of coffee cups was punctuated by an unexpected emergency. Within a 24-hour span, 3 separate knife incidents left 3 Montrealers wounded, each in a different neighborhood, one near St. Laurent, another by the Latching Canal, and a third on St. Denis. First responders arrived swiftly, their lights painting the streets amber, while neighbors gathered on stoops, offering blankets and steady hands. In one moment, a baker from a corner bakery slipped a warm bagel and a steaming mug of hot chocolate into the arms of a paramedic, the aroma of fresh dough cutting through the chill. A teenage skateboarder, seeing a victim's trembling wrist, knelt and whispered a promise to stay until help arrived. The collective response turned a day of fear into a reminder of Montreal's quiet solidarity. As the sun set over the rooftop gardens, the city's rhythm returned, steadier for having seen its own compassion in action. It was a small, powerful reminder that together, we can turn even the toughest moments into shared strength.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the local sunrise. Tonight's tribute to Gloria Bailey's reminded us of the power of community leadership. Stay tuned tomorrow for more stories that matter to our city. I'm Lauren Dupuis, wishing you a bright morning ahead. We'll bring you the latest on Montreal's transit plans and cultural moments.